Lovely. All right. With that, we'll turn it over to the state senator.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you all for being here this morning. Today, as you'll hear in just a moment, I'm thrilled and very proud to announce that our campaign to fight for the people of Iowa in the U.S. Senate has won the endorsement of Council-Bluffs Mayor-elect Jill Shudak. You'll get to hear from Mayor-elect Shudak in just a moment, and we will both be happy to take your questions afterwards. I'm proud of earning Jill's endorsement because it not only shows that our campaign is bringing together people from all corners of our state, but that we also have fighters, proven winners, and community leaders like Jill who are willing to challenge the establishment joining our team. Mayor-elect Shudak just won a historic victory against a three-term Republican incumbent in Council Bluffs, which voted for Donald Trump a year ago. I was proud to support her campaign, and she won that campaign by connecting with Iowans, addressing their needs on the twin crises of rising costs and the need to challenge the establishment. And she did it by challenging the status quo, standing toe to toe against a political machine that had had a lot of success in her community, but that felt increasingly out of touch. When the people of Council Bluffs voted for Jill earlier this month, they voted to bring a new generation of leadership who will stand up to insiders, party leaders, no matter what side of the aisle that they're on. Southwest Iowa all too often is overlooked by politicians in Washington, and that has to stop. When I'm in the U.S. Senate, I'll work with Jill and any other leader in Iowa to stand up for our communities and fight for hardworking people. I'm also proud that Mayor-elect Shudak is joining a growing list of over 100 Iowa leaders who have endorsed our campaign, in addition to 7 local unions, making our campaign the only Senate campaign to receive union endorsement so far. And as I know, Mayor-elect Shudak has been a strong supporter of labor rights during her entire time in public office. We're building a coalition of Iowans who want something different out of their next U.S. senator. They want someone who will fight for our state. And with Jill's help, I know that we're ready to take on that fight. And with that, I'll hand it over to Mayor-elect Jill Shudak.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you all for joining us today. I am Council Bluffs Mayor-elect Jill Shudak, and I'm proud to endorse State Senator Zach Wahls to fight for all Iowans in the U.S. Senate. I've known Zach for years. He's a true friend of labor unions and working people across the state. He's a strong supporter of mine and my successful election this year, and I'm proud to back him in this election. Let me tell you about Zach. He's an Iowan first and foremost. He doesn't ask what DC thinks. He asks what's best for Iowa. Not only is the quality that we need in our next U.S. senator, but it also what takes to win in Iowa, which is something I know about. See, I've won 3 straight elections, and our campaign just defeated a 3-term Republican incumbent in the city that voted for Donald Trump just last year. I know what it takes to win Southwest Iowa, and I know what it takes to win over Republican voters. And that means not looking at people as D's, R's, or I's, but looking at them as our neighbors. What I've learned is that we need a senator who's willing to sit down with folks, no matter what their party is, no matter how they vote, and have real conversations. And that's what Zach Wahls has done. I've seen him do this firsthand just a few weeks ago. I had a few friends that weren't able to make it to Zach's event, but he stayed in town longer. He made time to meet with them and answered the tough questions that they had for him. Zach was able to find common grounds with Iowans, stand up and fight against our establishment on either side of the party or the aisle that might be ripping us off. As mayor-elect, I want to make sure that Council Bluffs has a partner in the U.S. Senate who's willing to stand up against special interests and fight for us. I know that we have that champion in Zach Wahls, and I'm very proud to endorse him today. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes.
All right, and we'll open it up to Q&A. If you want to ask a question, you can use the raise hand function or put a comment in the chat. We'll start with you, Laura.
Hi, this is Laura Bellin from Bleeding Heartland. Just for clarification, because I know that Mayor Walsh did endorse Josh Turek in his last reelection bid for the Iowa House. Did Josh Turek make any endorsement in the recent mayoral election?
He did not.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions out there? Feel free to ask away. Is Laura back?
Yeah, sorry.
Laura's back.
Question for Senator Wahls. Were you out on the doors in Council Bluffs at all during this campaign?
I wasn't on this one, but I definitely have enjoyed the multiple times that we've had the opportunity to visit Council Bluffs. I first met Jill. We were holding a listening post. This was back in early 2023, if I'm remembering correct,
Mhm.
Jill, for coffee at a local diner. Had the chance to talk with her then about some of the challenges that she was seeing. You were still on the school board at that point,
Yes.
or had they were looking at the city council, and we talked about a number of things, whether that was actually housing, the growing homelessness problem that is encountering Council Bluffs, something that we just had the opportunity to visit on a few moments ago as well. And Laura, I'll tell you that that affordability challenge that we all saw a few years ago is something that we continue to hear about as we go all over the state. We did a big swing through Southwest Iowa last month. That was where, as Jill mentioned, we had the chance to visit with a great group of folks from across the political spectrum after our event in Council Bluffs that evening. Unfortunately, we had to hit the road early enough the next morning that it would have not been respectful, Laura, to be door knocking that late or that early. But I will tell you that what I heard in that conversation was frustration with the affordability crisis, frustration with an establishment in DC that is not focused on the pressing challenges that are facing communities like Council Bluffs. And I was really honored to have the chance to have that conversation that evening and to continue that conversation as we go forward.
All right, next up, we'll go to Stephen Gruber Miller.
Senator, thanks for doing the call. If you don't mind taking a question on a different topic, I'd like to ask about the U.S. House vote coming up today to release the federal government's files related to Jeffrey Epstein. I know you
Stephen, I'm super happy to answer that question. Can I call you after
yeah,
we're
for
done and
sure.
we come to the mayor? I'd like to get back to answering questions that are
No, no
more focused on
problem.
Council Bluffs. No
No
problem.
problem.
All right, we'll get back to you, Stephen. And then reading off one in the comments here from Haley Peck. For Jill, I'm curious what influenced your decision to endorse Walls over Turek as he is from Council Bluffs, if you want to
Yeah,
answer that.
it's a great question, Haley. And I know Josh personally, and I like Josh personally. This is not a endorsement against Josh Turek. This is an endorsement for Zach Wahls. And really, it came down to me actually seeing Zach wanting and asking to talk to people from across the spectrum. That one-on-one conversation that I mentioned earlier, where he took time out of his schedule to stay later in Council Bluffs. I watched him answer those tough questions, get put to the paces, and really, that's what solidified it for me that I was going to be backing Zach in this one. However, if Josh ends up being our nominee, I am happy to get behind him as well. We have two great candidates here in Iowa, and it's amazing to see. And it's amazing that I have an opportunity to be friends with both of them. So it is a tough situation for me, but that is what solidified it for me.
All right. You're welcome, Haley. Any other questions? Otherwise, I think we will wrap here and we'll give you a call, Stephen. Going once, going twice. Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining us here today. You can follow up in the press inbox if you need anything else, and we will have the recording if you need it. With that, everyone have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.